How's it going, guys? My name is Zach with the movie Castle, and today we're going to be talking about Clive Barker's The Yattering and Jack. This is the graphic novel adaptation adapted by Steve Niles, so he took Clive Barker's text and translated into a comic script, and then illustrated by John Bolton there, who did these really nice, what I'm going to guess are maybe watercolor illustrations. Very nice and good style. We'll get into that in a minute. But anyway, this story, for those of you who don't know, was originally published in the Books of Blood. Clive Barker's Books of Blood are his short story collections. They're really cool, about 30 pages each, and for 30 pages they really pack a good punch. 30 pages, a little more in-depth than like a short story, yet doesn't go so long that it doesn't feel like a short story. And really great creative ideas that always, hit the mark really, really well, and I'd recommend checking them out. But anyway, some of the Books of Blood stories got adapted into these graphic novels, and this is the first one I've ever found in a store, but they did make more. And actually, if we flip to the back of the book, you can see this ad here, and this lists some of the other things this publisher has made. But as you can see here, they've adapted Son of Celluloid into a graphic novel as well. And I really did like Son of Celluloid. That was a really good one in the Books of Blood. So, yeah, I would definitely, if I saw Son of Celluloid in a store, pick it up in a heartbeat. But, yeah, they made a few of these. I think at least 3 or 4. But, yeah, I would buy the entire Books of Blood in comics if they did make them and I could find them. So, anyway, you see the Yattering on the cover. I'm going to pull the book off screen before I flip through the pages because the Yattering here is drawn anatomically correct, and I would worry that YouTube would freak out. Now, technically, he's not human, and that should make it okay, but I'm going to find pages where you can't see anything just to appease YouTube there. There's also a hell sequence for the first 2 pages that I'm going to have to not show you guys for the same reason. But anyway, the Yattering and Jack is about this guy, Jack Polo, whose life is not doing too great. You see, he's a balding, middle-aged guy. His wife left him and then killed herself. You can see on the screen there that she actually killed herself during a screening of Hellraiser, so that's fun. Hellraiser was also referenced if you guys ever read The Thief of Always. You can see that Hellraiser mask in one of Clive Barker's illustrations in the background, so that's always been a fun Clive Barker Easter egg. But anyway, this middle-aged guy, kind of clueless, kind of a dope, yet for some reason, and there's the front cover and the book itself, this lower demon, a Yattering, is bound to haunt him. So this demon, he has some basic rules. He cannot touch the man, and he cannot leave his house, and yet he is supposed to drive the man insane. So that's his goal, is to drive the man insane, ruin his life by haunting the house. Yet this guy is so oblivious that he can't, no matter what he does, get his attention. So you see scenes like, he can't harm the guy physically, so he'll do things like torment his cat and stuff, because he's allowed to do that. But, he'll wreak havoc, and Jack Polo there will just either brush it off or not even notice it. So there he is reading a copy of Dune. Hey, he's topical, isn't he? But yeah, so he'll do things, he'll torment things, and Jack won't even notice, and that gets him going a little upset. He eventually contacts his master, who you see right here, and they explain that Jack's mother was in a cult, and she was promised to hell, and she at the last moment got away to a priest, and when she died went to heaven, and they got really upset. So because of this, they're trying to claim Jack there. So the Yattering is stuck there, it can't get out, but it's not doing a great job at haunting him or driving him insane. But eventually what happens is Christmas comes, and Jack's 2 daughters are coming over for Christmas, and he thinks, okay, this is a vulnerable time. This is one of the times that I'll be able to actually get to him with his 2 daughters there as his weakness, and he wreaks some crazy Christmas themed havoc. I won't show you too terribly much of it because I don't want to spoil the book, like it's last act stuff. But here's a fun Christmassy shot where they begin to suspect something's up, and you see his feet up there, and then she sees an ornament start to move, and then the whole tree starts to spin around fanatically. And that's really one thing I do like about this story is, you've seen classic haunting stuff, but it's like, okay, what if you saw a large part of why it was haunted? You see this character that's haunting him, and you see he has to manipulate and do things to make the house haunted, and it's kind of like peeling back the curtain to a haunted house story, and you see that this guy's actually suffering just like the guy he's haunting, just like, why can't I scare you? And it's always really fun. Flip it over to the back. There's a nice shot of the exterior of Jack's house at Christmas time. But anyway, it's really fun, and I do love this adaptation. This is one of those stories I read, and I was like, okay, that's one of the better books of blood stories. It is always really, really fun, and to get to see this with a bit more context, with the art behind it, and to add a new layer with the art is a fun new way to enjoy the story rather than just doing a reread. So I found it really, really fun, and I really did like it. But as you could see in some pages, the Yattering, they drew him really fun and cartoony. For example, in this page here, you see how crazy and over the top the drawing of the Yattering can get. So it has this wacky, fun comic book feel. But then again, this art is also really good, and this is literally the next page over. You get this shot, and that's darn near photorealistic for this art style. And I really did love the range that this artist can do, going from cartoony stuff to really realistic. And I have to say, I'm a really big fan of this. And I don't know if it's the same creative team behind the other books of blood, but I swear, as soon as I can find those, I'll definitely pick them up. I'm going to wrap this up a little quicker. My dog, as you can probably hear, needs some attention. But anyway, really good and highly recommended. It's a fun Clive Barker story, but this time you get the addition of the art and some visuals. So yeah, I really did like this book, and I'd highly recommend it. But a really, really cool adaptation, and I wish these got a wider release. But anyway, to everyone who's watched so far, thank you for watching. To everyone who's liked and subscribed, thank you. You really are helping out the channel. I'll put a relevant playlist down here at the bottom, should be my comic book playlist. And I'll see you guys again very, very soon. Have a good day. Comics playlist at the bottom.